Well, I think we'll go ahead and just get started. Just so you all know, I see a lot of familiar faces on here this morning, but everyone is muted. I will unmute Karen in just a moment after I introduce her. And if you will, just type your questions in the chat box as we go. And when Karen is done with her presentation, then I'll go ahead and read those off to her and we will answer as many as we possibly can. Welcome again. My name is Audrey Kirchner, and I think I forgot to change my name up top. I will be hosting today's webinar with Karen Bratovz, and she is from Nuance Healthcare, and she is Operations Manager, and she has kindly consented to come and speak with us today about what it takes to be successful in the MT-HDS field. I'm sure that you all are very interested in that. Personally, I love success stories. I like a happy ending. Um, Karen happened to be an honors graduate in the spring of 2009, but she had a bit of a circuitous route to get there. She actually started out at McMaster University in 1999 with an honors Bachelor of Commerce degree. So you might be wondering, how did she end up being an MT-HDS? Well, as many of us do, she wanted to have a family and she wanted the real deal. Medical transcription is one of the only real deals that I know of that you can actually work from home and surprisingly be a success and make good money. So she happened upon this career when she met someone that worked for an MTSO and it intrigued her. So she wanted to find out more information and began inquiring about the best way to go about that. And lucky for her, CanScribe's name came up many times. So she enrolled in the program and the rest is history. She started out as an MT right away. She got her own accounts even, and she was very educated in commerce and being able to use that as well, as I think that was part of her skill set. So in no time at all, practically, she ended up with a team lead position, and now she is transcription services manager. Or no, I'm sorry, she was the transcription services manager and now she's the operations manager, managing 100 plus transcriptionists and team leads. She also serves 6 of Nuance's Canadian hospital accounts. Having worked for Nuance myself in the U.S., I know what a huge company that is, and I know what a tremendous feat that is to manage that many people, that many schedules, and that much work. It's absolutely incredible. So without further ado, I'm going to let Karen tell you more about her success story. And we again will take our questions at the end, and I'm happy to just scan them as we go along. And I'll turn this over to Karen. Good morning, Karen.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Audrey. Quite the introduction. Good morning to everyone here. Thanks so much for joining me today, and thank you for inviting me and meeting with me today. I'm quite pleased to be with everybody, and I look forward to discussing my career, my experience in the medical transcription industry, and to answering any questions that you may have. Okay, so yeah, then we'll get to our first slide here. So yeah, a few different areas that I'm hoping to cover today. First of all, I'll tell you a little bit more about me, which Audrey has given a bit of an introduction there. So personally and professionally, and then I'd like to explain to you in a bit more detail what I feel contributed to my success in the field. And after that, I'll tell you a little bit more about Nuance, and then we can open it up for some questions. Okay, so we can go to the next slide. Okay, so as you heard in Audrey's introduction, I would say it was, about 10, 12 years ago, I found myself at a little bit of a crossroads, so to speak, with my career. I did have a pretty successful career in sales and recruiting, but I also had a young family, and I needed a job that had more flexibility. Okay. So I experimented with a few different part-time positions, some other work at home opportunities, but I quickly determined that they didn't offer either the income that I needed or the flexibility for me to manage my home and my work life. So yeah, after meeting up with some others in the community and doing a little bit of brainstorming, some additional research, a career in medical transcription seemed to be the answer for me, and it quickly became my focus. So an additional research revealed that CanScribe was the way to go. I took time calling, I called different service providers. I got on the phone with, with transcription managers at hospitals, and sort of all roads led back to CanScribe as far as their preferred grad if they were to bring one on. So that was kind of quickly became my decision that I needed that experience to succeed. So I enrolled in 2008. And, as you're obviously very aware, it was quite an intense program and one that I was very proud to graduate from with honors in 2009. At the time, I also did my practicum with CanScribe and then began to apply to MTSOs right away. So I would say within days to weeks of graduating, I did receive my first contract and have never been without work since. I did also land a private contract with a local vocational rehab company in my community, and that was a real amazing experience as well. Nuance was actually not the first MTSO that I contracted for, but over time I determined it was the one that best fit my longer term goals, and in 2014 I decided to contract solely for Nuance. And then in 2015, as Audrey mentioned, I was given an opportunity as a team lead across a few accounts with Nuance, and this allowed me to move into more of a quality audit role, pending review, training, things like that. And then in January 2016, into the role of transcription service manager, and then last summer into my current role of operations manager. So today I don't actually transcribe on any Nuance accounts, but instead manage multiple books of business across Canada from an operational standpoint and manage around 120 transcriptionists. I do have the opportunity, I'm in the systems, listening to reports, helping people fill in blanks, all those kind of things on a regular basis. So I definitely keep my hand in there, but don't actually type the reports any longer. Okay, so that, so I would say, I was pretty successful in getting up and running. Sorry, new slide, Audrey.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was my fault. I
was just
confused my notes.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's okay. So I would say I was pretty successful in getting up and running quickly in the MT world, and I do feel that there's a few key points that really contributed to my success in getting started. And the first was getting some solid training and hands-on transcription experience. Sorry, Audrey, can we go one slide ahead?
Sure.
I don't know unless I'm just not seeing it. Okay. All right, I'll continue. I don't know. I'm seeing a slide behind, but that's fine.
Did I miss one?
Slides. Oh, someone's saying slides aren't changing. So we are seeing the All About Me slide. So we should be on slide 4.
Oh, that's funny because I'm changing those. Okay, can you see that one?
No, we still see slide 3.
Huh.
That's okay. I can continue. There's no big deal. You'll
That's
all get to
strange.
listen to me.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'll try it again here from the beginning. All right. Are you seeing a different slide now?
No.
Well, that's strange. I don't understand. Huh.
Well, no problem. I'll
Okay.
the slides are just the basics anyway, so I'll keep going. Okay, so I feel, as I was just saying, that I was pretty successful in getting up and running, and I think there's a few things that helped contribute to that. So that's what I'm hoping to share with you today. And the first, I truly believe, was getting my training and my hands-on experience that was offered through CanScribe. So it's pretty exciting that everyone is already one step ahead. So that's great. So to succeed in this field, you need to have a strong attention to detail, excellent proofreading skills, and these are skills honed in the CanScribe program, and certainly don't take these for granted. They'll serve you very well as you get going in the real working world. And again, as Audrey had alluded to in the beginning, I think a great part of my success was having the technical skills and the training. I also feel I owe a lot of my success, to some of my softer skills, having confidence in myself, my persistence with my follow-up. I applied to many service providers, and I started from the bottom to get the experience I needed that, in order to open me up for opportunities later on. I had confidence that I had the training and the skills, and I wasn't afraid to pick up the phone and sell myself. So I did apply to all the well-known MTSOs, all the big guys out there, and then I also applied to smaller ones that I found through web searches. And as I mentioned, the rehab company that I worked for was one that was actually not even hiring. It was just a name I recognized. I sent my resume, followed up, and I guess it piqued their interest. So I certainly needed to step out of my comfort zone a little bit, but I believe it does make a difference. Okay, so we'll move on to what would be our next slide. Okay, so I also feel finding the opportunity that suits you best is going to be key to your success longer term. There's many factors to consider, and not including but not only compensation. So most times when you're working for an MTSO, the rate of pay will be based on production, and there's not a lot of room for negotiation. If you are looking to land an in-house position, then compensation would likely be an hourly wage. Flexibility, something else very worth considering. Are you able to commit to a set schedule? Are you looking to work on your own schedule? And do you want this to be fluid from day to day or week to week? So you also want to choose a company with ample work availability. You want to ensure that there'll be work available to you when you are available to work. And support and communication are two things that you might not be thinking of when you join your first company, but to me, they were pretty big considerations. Especially when starting out, it's important to have supportive management and a training team that'll help you with your training, answer questions as you go. And this is even more so important when you're working remote. So overall, where you choose to join is a personal decision, but you really should weigh the pros and cons of each and make sure the organization's a fit to what you're looking for. Okay, so moving on. So, pretty much at this point, pretty exciting. You've landed your first contract, but now, as importantly, you need to set yourself up for success. So one thing I learned from experience that I had discussed with all the new people joining my team is that you really need to be patient. It is a long-term investment. You may not necessarily see great success overnight, but instead, it's important that you set realistic goals. Daily, week to week. When I first started, I really remember feeling, that I was so slow and feeling like I was working a whole lot of time and, not making a whole lot of income or, not really getting a whole, feeling like I was, getting a lot of reports done. And it is very easy to get discouraged, and that's a trap that, some of the newer people on my team often fall into that I need to work to help them get out of. You really need to stay positive. You need to trust the process. Take the time that you get in training to really get to know your account and read and reread those reports before uploading them. Really embrace the feedback and training that you're provided, and before you know it, you get quicker and quicker and kind of hit that point where things seem to just click. Just, always remember this is your career and you're in it for the longer haul. So from there, things to help you move to the next level, focus and time management, very important factors for success. You need to, in order to set yourself up to succeed, you really need to remove your distractions around you. It sounds really appealing, and it sounds easy to think that, you might be able to work while you're watching your children or, work around everyone else's schedule. And I know this is probably something that's attractive to a lot of you coming into this. And, you may be working a flexible schedule. You still need to make a schedule. So, sometimes for me it would vary week to week, but I would always carve out a schedule at the start of each week and try my very best to stick with it. putting it off, leaving work to the weekend, thinking, oh, I can come back to it later because, my buddy just, asked me if I want to go out for lunch. Never a good way to reach your goals. So another thing that is that's really helpful is having dedicated power hour type of working times. So I found that, oftentimes working 1 or 2 of these power hours was more beneficial to me than times when I would have, 4+ hours open in front of me. It's easy. My kids will go to school. I'd be like, okay, it's 9 till 3. I have this entire day ahead of me to work. And the next thing I know, I've kind of wandered, tossed in a load of laundry, went to get a drink, taken a phone call, checked my email, and, before I know it, it's 10 o'clock, and I haven't really done a whole lot of anything. So soon your day's gone, and you haven't really accomplished much. So when I discuss increasing productivity with my teams, the power hour concept is something that we have such success with. You sit down, you set a timer, sit your butt in your chair, and you do nothing else but work until that timer goes off. An hour is usually, a good period of time for someone to really stay focused, be productive, not need to stretch, and, take a break. So then, when that hour's over, then you can break, take care of a couple things you need to, come back for another one. And you'd be amazed what you can accomplish with that kind of focus. You do 2 of those, and I guarantee you'll have more work done than if you left a 4-hour open window when you're back and forth and not truly focused working. Then hand in hand with that, you need to be able to protect your time. So unfortunately, your friends and your family may need to be reminded more than a few times that just because you're working from home, you are still working. One of the benefits of this career is flexibility. You'll have to balance many things, but you need to protect your time and treat it as if you're in an office. So stopping to have a coffee with your neighbor who knocks on the door, babysitting your friend's child, it's just not always possible if you have goals to reach and, work that you need to do. As I mentioned earlier, one of the motivating factors for me when choosing this career was to allow me that balance between childcare, working with my young family. But I had to have many conversations with my husband reminding him that, I was also working, I had a job to do. I needed his help to allow me to focus and be successful as well. Eventually I was able to find, a really nice balance between working and time with my family, but certainly, didn't come without a little bit of effort on the front end. All right, so, now we're at a point where you've landed your position, you've set a schedule that'll work for you, and you're settling in. So I'd like to discuss how we move to the next level. And basically this comes in the form of using your tools. So this is something I simply cannot stress enough. These were key for me, and they're key for my most successful MLS on my team today. So you'll learn what works best for you, but honestly, take the time to set these up for yourself. They make such a difference when it comes to production. So these are things like keyboard shortcuts. So taking the time to learn shortcuts, reduce the amount of time your fingers come off the keyboard is a great first step. It may seem like it takes a lot of time to invest, but it'll pay off. I say things like try learning, putting into play 1 new shortcut each workday, and then, or 1 each week, and then adding on from there. It's a great way to start. Word expansion software, another thing that, is very, that really contributed to my success. You can use a word-based program, like the built-in autocorrect. I know that the transcription software that Nuance uses does have, an autocorrect feature where you can build your own expansions. Or you can, if you're more serious, move into a more advanced program, instant text, shorthand. Instant text is what I used. And, again, it's an early monetary and time investment that really pays off in the long run because you're able to save, simple repetitive words and phrases up to entire paragraphs, addresses, doctor names, normals, really depending on the account that you're on. So I used instant text all through my MT career and found it invaluable. You also have to remember to back it up because I've seen, people lose their shortcuts, and that's devastating when you've worked, years to build them. Yeah, so word lists, cheat sheets, also prove to be very invaluable if you take the time to build them. As a manager, I do my very best to gather commonly dictated phrases and build databases for my teams of common errors that we come across. Tough dictators, lists of information specific to my different accounts, cities, city names, clinics, things like that. But really the transcriptionists who take this on themselves and customize their word lists and their cheat sheets are the ones who really do see the most success. I don't know if this is a tool that's still part of your training, but I remember building my little red notebook when I was at training at CanScribe when I studied, and that was something I took with me through my working career and continued to build on that. So, just another tip. High quality headset is also something that is something that a lot of people on my team has made a big difference to them. For me, my Spectra headset that I had from CanScribe served me quite well over the years, but there's noise canceling options. There are certainly more slick and advanced investments out there, and a lot of the people I've spoke to, they do claim it makes a big difference to them in their productivity, their pending, and just the quality. It really assists with their audio and allows them to move more quickly through their reports the first time. So moving on now, I have a company overview slide of Nuance. So just to tell you a little bit about us. When I joined Nuance, we were part of, it was Excentis in Canada, and then Excentis was acquired by Nuance in 2012. And, Nuance is one of the larger, global medical service providers at this point, head office in the U.S., founded in 1994. And then our division, the Nuance Transcription Services division, was founded in 2007. And then, acquired a few companies through the U.S. as well as in Canada, leading into, NTS and Nuance.com at this point, where we are today. So, the benefits of contracting for us, we are one of the the industry leader as far as MTSO. We have a patient-focused culture and mission. We do have cutting-edge technology from our eScription software, so our our transcription software to our timekeeping and our payroll systems, our quality audit software. All of our transcriptionists are independent contractors, able to make their own flexible working schedules. We do offer a supportive working environment, so I can certainly say that, I know each one of the people working on my teams personally, individually, on the phone and with them, corresponding by email, helping them hands-on to reach their goals, answering questions, helping them through blanks, anything, tips and tricks that can work for them personally to help them with their production. So we're certainly not an organization where, you come on, you start working, and you never hear from anybody again. And, that's not the case of everyone that's out there. And I say that, from experience, and a lot of the people on my teams, that's, one of the big things that they enjoy about working with us, supportive personal working environment. We do allow all of our transcriptionists access to continued education and training. So we have a learning portal that's by the name of Nuance Learning, and there are thousands upon thousands of learning modules, links to different courses to help you, increase your quality, decrease your pens, tips on dealing with, ESL doctors, word lists if you struggle in a certain specialty. We have word lists in cardiology, you name it, and it's likely available, for you free of charge when you're working for us. Certain things I assign out to my team as I feel that, they would benefit from them, but aside from that, you're able to go in at any time and take on as much as you'd like.